Let's see. Oh, I'm already live. This is not starting very well. Okay, so basically, I went and I watched this great video. I'm going to start this off by telling you that I was going to do this OBS, and I watched a great video by Nick Nimmons, and I took a whole bunch of notes, And I tore it off for some reason, and I don't know where I put it. I have no idea where my notes are. So, of course, I couldn't do this OBS. So it is what it is. Hey, Susie. Hi, Susie Q. How you doing? So basically, the reason that I did this was because I was going to be able to share some pictures and then have people give me their opinion about the presidential portrait. And of course, I also wanted to talk about. I'm glad you're okay, Susie. I also wanted to talk about, and thank you for the likes. Thank you so much. I have 4 people and I have 3 likes, and I think that's great. So I also wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about the Florida shooting since I live in Florida. Hey, Sila May, how you doing? I'm so glad you're here. And Aged Graceful is here too. Everybody's here. I'm very, very happy. You're going to have to excuse me because I'm still recuperating from the flu. It really knocked me out. That flu was horrible. So I did a live before, and I did a couple, but I wanted to do it using OBS. And I thought I could do it, but I couldn't do it. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to watch that video that Nick Nimmons did again for the 2nd or 3rd time. So, yeah, I said, well, let's try it again. And here I am trying it again. And we're hopefully going to be talking about a couple of subjects here that might be a little controversial, but there's still subjects that I think everybody has been talking about. I wanted to see if there was a way that I could put a picture up here for you, but I can't because I'm not using the OBS because I don't know how to use it. Hey, guys, thank you so much for the likes. I really appreciate it. Wow. So anyway, the presidential portraits. Let's move on to that. Let me know if everybody here has seen the presidential portrait that was made for Obama and the one that was made for Michelle. Has everybody seen it? Oh, Sila, you had 3 weeks of flu. Yeah, I'm still super congested. I know that flu is really bad. Wow. Yay, Ashley. So happy to see you. Okay, so I wanted to get some opinions here with regards to if you liked it. Ashley said that she loved it. And she said that she thought that they were beautiful. Now, we've got a couple more people in the room, so I wanted to see what your opinion was with regards to the presidential portrait. See if I can get some better light here. I'm like in really bad light. And my computer webcam is awful. But I just ordered a new one. It was on sale. Plus I had $20 coupon. So I got it for a good price. It is a Logicam Pro 90 something. But yeah, I think it's going to be really good. I got it for like $49, which is really good. Okay, so let's see. Any more opinions about the portrait? Let's see. What is it? What did I miss here? I missed something about good etiquette. I don't know. I missed something. Did I miss something? I don't know. Aged Graceful says you are welcome. That is good etiquette when you come into a live, dear. I don't know. I don't know what she said. I don't know. I must have missed something. But anyway, thank you, sweetheart. Oh, okay, for giving us thumbs up. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. I think it's super nice that people do that. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Now, you need to look up the portrait. Okay, Susie? I think you should Google it on another tab. Google presidential portrait, take a look at it, and come back. Okay? Yes, please do it. All right. Now, let me give you I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you what happened. I was on Facebook and I was, reading whatever people were posting, and then somebody posted, oh, this is so unpresidential. This is terrible. This is blah, blah, blah. And I said, wow, these people are really dumb. I mean, how don't they see this as a joke? That's what I thought when I saw the presidential portrait. I thought it was a joke. I really did. I said, this is a prank. How could they believe this? How silly they are. All right. So that's what I thought. I thought it was a prank, but it wasn't a prank. It was real. I think that I was confused maybe because I thought it was a prank. Guys, who has not seen the portrait, the presidential portrait? Saya, you need to look up presidential portrait, take a look at it, presidential Obama presidential portrait, and take a look at it and tell me what you think. Oh, I wish that I had the OBS because I have it ready to show it to you, but I couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure it out. So every president has, when they leave office, I suppose, or maybe even during, they have a special portrait that is made of them and the first lady, and they're exhibited. All of them are there. They're all exhibited. So it's a very historic moment that you capture, and it's a very important part of history. So I want to know, Susie, did you see the portrait? Did you look it up? Okay, now I know that Aged Graceful, you saw the portrait and you liked it, right? Yes, you liked it. I think you said that you liked it. Okay, so I don't know. You Aged Graceful, you did not like them? Okay, tell me why. Yes, I hope you go there because it's good for you to go there. Yes, tell me why you didn't like it. I can read your mind, Aged Graceful. I can read your mind. So while she types, I am going to tell you what Susie Q says. She says it's like a cartoon. Yes, the artistic interpretation is not a realistic one. It's more of a cartoonish type of artistic interpretation. And I think that as art, it's pretty. All art is pretty. So I think as art, it is pretty. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Michelle Obama's portrait, I think, was totally beautiful, off the charts. However, I don't think it accurately depicted Michelle's face. That part I don't understand because I know that the artist has the skills to do it appropriately. So I don't know why she didn't. But the artistic work of art was absolutely gorgeous. So Aged Graceful is saying that they were privately commissioned and that these two pieces are going to be hanging in other spaces where the other pictures were done. I think that they're all hanging in the same place. They're all hanging in, what is the name of it? Excuse me. the ones that will hang with the other presidents have. Oh, thank you. Okay, so Aged Graceful says that the portraits that are going to hang with the other presidents have not been completed yet. Okay. This is a separate commission for, okay, so there has to be some news going around that is, like they say, fake news, because I understood that this was not for a separate place, but rather for the presidential wall. So if that is the case, then it's perfect that it be shown in an artistic way someplace else, and that's fine. But if it's going to be shown in the presidential wall, I think it's totally wrong. Totally wrong. No, I think it just, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right because I think that it makes it look too comical and takes away the importance of the historic nature that our first Black president has in the country. But Aged Graceful is saying that people jumped the gun by saying that that would be the paintings used in the presidential wall. However, that's what I read. I read that. Yes, Susie Q says it looks a little bit degrading, and I do think it does. The Obama one, the President Obama's portrait, just, that's I don't get it. I just don't get it. But Michelle's is very pretty. It's a beautiful artistic interpretation. Bye, sweetie. This is my son walking out. So I'm going to have to look into that. I'm going to have to confirm, trust but verify, because all the information I got, everything I read told me that that those two paintings were for the historic presidential wall. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's totally not the best painting I can recommend. Okay, so let me see if I can put something up here and find some kind of information as to what those portraits are and where they are going. Okay, so over here it says, I'm looking at the Chicago Tribune, and it's not the official portraits that will someday hang in the White House, but a classic. And because the thing is that they have to stand the test of time. They have to be there historically for a very long time. So you really shouldn't do things that are trendy. That's how I look at it. You need to do a classical type of art that will stand the test of time. Well, that's my opinion anyway. Okay. So anyway, the next thing, I wanted Gail to come here. Gail from Random Life Productions. And I don't know how to get her over here, but I am going to send her a text with Hangouts, because she always helps me with these things, these live streams. And I should have contacted her before and told her, can you help me with the OBS? She probably knows how to do it. And I swear I took all of these copious notes. Look at this. Look, OBS, all of these notes. And well, this is like halfway into after you set it up, so it doesn't help. What a waste. Okay, so Susie, I am so glad you're here, and Ashley, I'm so glad you're here. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, and it's a very solemn thing. It's more serious, it's more solemn, is the situation of what happened in Florida. You know, I'm in Florida. I live about 40 miles away from where that happened, the shooting. So it hits everybody. It doesn't just hit the neighborhood, but when you think about it, everybody is affected by it. Everybody is saddened by it, and everybody is shocked. You know, like Ashley says, her heart was about, broken. It's terrible. It really affects people. And those teachers, the coach, he gave his life actually blocking a bullet. He stood between the bullet and one of the students. Another teacher he went out to lock the door, and he got shot too. So, hey, New Orleans Gardener, how you doing? we already kind of talked about the presidential portraits. A lot of people, including this person, was under the impression that those were the official presidential portraits for the presidential wall. And Aged Graceful was very kind to inform us that no, those are not. They're for a different showing. They're separate. So we discussed that. You guys have to excuse me. I'm still recuperating from that flu. And now we're talking about the Florida shooting and how it's affected people. And what do you think? What do you think should be done to eliminate things like this? Some people say, well, you know what I heard somewhere? I'm not even going to say where because I'm embarrassed. But the attitude that I heard behind these words were very scary, because a person said, you know what we need to do when we start cutting off the hands of people that commit this type of crime or other kinds of crime, then we won't have a problem. And when I heard that, I said, wow, we've got a serious problem for sure. Because that's not how you heal a society that needs healing. That's our problem. Our society needs healing. And that's why we have kids, because this child, 19 years old, was a kid, okay? He was a kid, a troubled kid. And I think the society failed him. And I think that the society caused what happened. Now, I've got another friend of mine, and she says, no, Marta, you're wrong, because you have a choice. You can be bitter or you can be better. And he chose to be bitter. I know, but some people are not resilient enough to be better. Some people can only work with the bitterness. And then that's where we need to come in and help them. That's what I think. I think that we failed. Our society failed. So I want to know what you guys think. I know that my opinion is really a very humanistic type of approach, very idealistic, maybe not realistic in some minds, but in mine, yes. So I want to see what you guys think. What do you guys think? Am I wrong? Am I wrong to say society failed this kid? Am I wrong to even call him a kid? And by the way, thank you for all the likes. Wow, I'm flattered, really flattered. Let's see. Well, Age Gracefully says, especially if the state you live in takes away coverage for mental health programs. I'm a therapist who has worked on a locked unit. Yeah, that's That's where I'm coming from. We have a total breakdown in the system here. We have a kid who was identified unofficially by friends and people around him and neighbors. They recognized that there was something odd about him and they were afraid of him. We have a school who banned him and had warnings to staff that if they saw him, they needed to be very alert about it. So they knew he was dangerous. We had FBI being contacted because of a comment that he put on Facebook using his real name. Yep. And he was in the system receiving some kind of help for his mental and emotional state. And then he stopped going. Okay. So, how many times do we have to fail before we can say, we failed and not just blame it on him? Right? Now, I have to do what my kids do. I'm an elementary school teacher, and this is what they tell me. They say, yes, you're right, Ms. Diaz. You can't point your finger at somebody else because when you point your finger at somebody else, you've got 3 pointing back at you. So when we point our finger of guilt to this kid, we've got a lot pointing back at us. And I think I might get a lot of flack from this because I'm saying that he's a victim, and I probably will get a lot of flack. But I don't know what to do. I don't think it's normal for a human being to behave that way. I don't think it's normal. Yes, there are other issues that we're to blame at also. Why do we need automatic weapons? I don't get that. Okay. So, hey, Llama Monster, how you doing? I don't understand why we need an automatic weapon. That's true. I have no problems with people having guns. I don't want a gun. I'm afraid of guns. I don't want a gun. But I don't understand why people have to have an automatic weapon. We have a lot of people dead. A lot of people dead. A lot of children who should have been safe. So I'm angry. I'm angry at the situation that had all of these ingredients to make this happen. Yes, Llama Monster says that he was taking drugs. Yes, and you know what? Somebody told me that you can take. Actually, I saw it in the news. One of the students from the school said that it wasn't about gun control because people can have guns, and even if they take away the automatic assault weapon type of thing, that they can make it turn into that type of a gun. And I'm listening to this child from the school and I'm like, wow, I can't believe she's saying that, but I guess she's right. It's about, hey, Carla, how you doing? I'm happy you're here. I think it's about the kids' mental health. Hey guys, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm looking at all those likes and I'm so happy. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I know I don't really deserve it because my video quality is no good. I'm not the best speaker, but I appreciate that you're doing that for me. Thank you so much. So I think that this child of 19 years old should have received more help. I do. I think that the people who were noticing that something was wrong with him should have had resources that were more powerful and that had more consequence rather than just what they did, which was nothing. Nothing. And I gotta tell you something. Wait a second. This YouTube thing, you guys know that he put a comment on a YouTube video saying that he was going to be a future school shooter. You guys know that, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard that all over the place. Okay, thank you, Llama Monster. I appreciate it. You're a sweetheart. Thank you for hanging out. All right, so you know that he did that. And now, then the FBI says that they went and they visited the guy, the content creator, and he says, I don't know who this guy is. I just saw this. I reported it to you all, and now you're here. Okay, so now the FBI couldn't find him. YouTube couldn't find him. Oh my God. He used his real name. YouTube couldn't find him, and the FBI couldn't find him. Ashley, yes. Ashley. Can you believe it? He posted that on a YouTube video. The FBI went to the content creator who reported the post, and they couldn't find him. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? They should fire the whole department in the FBI, and they need to call YouTube to account on that. Like, what's up, YouTube? Because, you know, you really treat us like you watch us all the time. And if we put something, a word like mature women, because we're showing makeup to mature women, you shut it down right away. So you mean YouTube, you couldn't do anything to find this guy? All right. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Yeah, two chicks, right. You could just track the IP address. I mean, that you can't do that? Is that only on in the movies? What's going on here? So YouTube failed us. FBI failed us. Okay? A lot of people failing here. Not just the kid. A lot of people failing. And it's scary. It's scary. My mom called me and she said, lock the doors, make sure you lock the doors. But it's not about locking the doors, because I'm a teacher, that's why. It's not about locking the doors. You know, let's say that my doors are locked, we get a code red. Okay. And let's say somebody starts knocking and saying, help me, I need to get in. And I know it's one of my students who went outside to the restroom. I can hear the voice of the little 7-year-old. What am I going to do? Not open the door? Of course I'm going to open the door. That's exactly what happened to the teacher that got shot. Teacher made, open the door to be able to lock it from the other side, which is part of the process. You're supposed to, that's a procedure. You've got to have that door locked. And when he went and opened that door to lock it on the other side, he got shot and killed. Hey, Dolores, the Baking Diva, how you doing? Excuse me. So yeah, we're talking about a couple of things. Number one, we just went through the artwork for the presidential portrait, and yes, it was a little bit of fake news there, because I think a lot of people thought that it was going to be hanging in the White House on the presidential wall. But no, that was a separate commission to be shown, I think, in a Black history or I don't know, Aged Gracefully is the one who knows, but in a special museum. So it was more of an artistic type of endeavor. And we gave our opinions about it. And then we moved on to the Florida shooting. So that's where we are now. And guys, thank you again. Thank you so much for being here. I know that the quality of the camera is really, really bad. And you guys are here anyways. And you guys are giving me the thumbs up. So thank you. You guys are great. Thank you very much. So anyway, those poor kids, how did they go to school the next day? As a parent, would you let your child go back to school? I mean, would you go from there to homeschooling? Because I don't know. I think I might do something like that. I mean, if I were in that situation, what would you do? My child is grown. When my child was young, he wouldn't be going back. He wouldn't be going back to that school. He wouldn't be going back. That's all I have to say. So you tell me, What do you have to say? What do you think? I think that society failed the kid that went in there and shot everybody up and killed all of these innocent children. YouTube failed for not finding out where the guy was after he posted a comment that he was preparing to do something like that. And FBI failed for not finding him. And also, I don't know, that school was very prepared in terms of practice for an emergency situation. They had actually practiced on that day earlier for an emergency evacuation. And then the bell rang again at about 2:15, I believe it was. And what can a school do? What can a school do to protect under that type of outrageous situation? Not much. They can't do much because it's not made for that. And I don't want teachers having to carry guns. I don't want to carry a gun. You know, I don't want, do you think I want to carry a gun? I mean, no, I don't. So, Two Real Chicks is saying that this will not be popular, I'm sure, but I believe other parents, teachers, and students failed because he was reportedly bullied. Well, I just talked about that. I didn't say the bullying part, but I said, yeah, that we all failed that 19-year-old kid and that he is a kid. He's not a monster, but I believe we created him to be a monster. Yes, he wasn't born a monster. He was born a cuddly little kid like all babies. And then society failed him little by little. And then because society failed him every step of the way, he committed this atrocious act. Atrocious. Hey, Ranelyn, how you doing? Ranelyn has her son put a thick textbook and metal plate in his backpack for protection. Oh my gosh. How could we go to school like that? How can we do that? Hey, thanks for that like that I just got. Thank you. How can we send our little babies to school like that? Oh my God. I feel like crying. This is so upsetting. It's upsetting to me. It's upsetting. How come this kid did not get the help that he need? Okay. Why was, and that's the other thing. There is an age group that is the forgotten age group with regards to services. Okay. You are aged out of supportive services. When you're a minor, you will receive certain supportive services. But once you hit a certain age group, and particularly if you're no longer in school, and of course he was out of school because he wasn't allowed to be in school because of his troubles, then you're not eligible for supportive services. So there is a real big gap. Yes, Renalyn, we have to do something. We have to do something. And I prefer to think that we need to provide more support with regards to emotional and mental stability, because it's not only the diagnostics with mental health, but the diagnostics with, your heart. You may not feel clinically depressed, but you may feel depressed. What do we have to support people, kids of that age group, so that they can go through a situation like this? We don't seem to have that. And we don't have neighbors that are close knit. We have neighbors that don't know each other. And if you need to make a call to say, listen, there's this kid that is shooting at random, who's going to help the kid? Who's going to go and find out what is wrong with this kid? Why is he inspired to do this? He had posts on Facebook, on social media, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. Yes, the police went to his house. I believe it was 39 or 29 times. And nothing happened, obviously, because there was no solution. So we need more than just a visit from the police. We need to be able to provide a solution, support, follow up. If he didn't show up to mental health support that he was receiving, then somebody needs to get up out of there and go to his house and find out why. Okay. He was in alternative education program because he was taken out of his school and he didn't show up that day to the alternative education program. He didn't go. He decided to not go that day because we all know why now. I'll tell you the truth. When I'm teaching, my kids are absent, I'm calling them right then and there. I do that. I call them. Hey, what happened? How come so and so didn't come to school? I just do it. Why? Because I understand the situation. Sometimes the mother is tired because she's been working 18-hour shifts. She hasn't slept. She overslept. And now she's not going to bring the kid to school late because whatever. It's easier to say he's sick this morning. And that's okay because then I call and I say, oh, it's okay if he comes late. Just bring him in late. Not a problem. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and bring him in late. Because a child coming to school late is better than a child not going to school at all. But so the New Orleans gardener says he was telling the world that he was going to do what he was going to do. Yes, he was. And he needed help. And nobody, in my opinion, was able to give him the help that he needed. 39 times, Ranelin. That's incredible. They went to his house. The police went to his house 39 times. I don't know. So yeah, this is really bad. This is really bad. I don't think teachers should have to be, some people are saying, oh yeah, have more police at school. That's not going to solve the problem. Okay. First of all, the police doesn't carry automatic weapons. Hello. Well, the SWAT team does, but not the police. And secondly, that's not looking at the source of the problem. You need to look at the source of the problem. Why are we having 19-year-old kids wanting to kill everybody? That's the source of the problem. Yes, my prayers go out to the families, to the friends of the victims that were killed, to the staff that remains at the school, to everybody in the neighborhood who knew them. Yes, we have to pray hard, but we have to pray hard for the society. We have to pray hard for our society that is so hardened and so rough and tough that they say a solution is cut off their hands. What? Yeah. If a criminal does something or they steal something, just cut off their hands. They won't do it anymore. That's the solution you come up with. Well, what is in your heart and in your head? That's what I have to say about that. Guys, people, babies, a little baby is not born to be a criminal or to be a murderer. That's not how they're born. That's not how they're born. Okay? But the conditions that they live in and the experiences that they have, plus whatever predisposition they may have, creates who they are. But every criminal was a little baby that the mom was saying at one point, the mom said, oh, what a cute little baby. And maybe if you saw him cuddled like that, swaddled up, you would have said, oh, what a cute little baby. And you would have felt the tenderness. So what's the difference? Why don't you feel that tenderness when that baby grows up crooked because society has failed the baby? Oh, don't get me going. Oh my gosh. I can get real riled up. I can get very riled up. So, yeah, it's hard to understand, but there are people in our society that do not feel that they have a future. And when you're blessed and you realize because you're blessed because you had parents that took good care of you and that gave you a good education and you were fed every day, and you have opportunity, okay, you know that you have a path that you can take that gives you stability and it gives you comfort and it gives you security. But guys, it's hard for everybody to understand that not everyone is born under those conditions. Some people are born under conditions where they believe that their life is without any purpose, that they have no options, that they have no choices, and that nothing will ever happen to them because they are born under such horrific conditions. Okay? And people don't get that. And it's hard to have the compassion. It's hard to understand because, I mean, if you're like a millionaire, you don't really know, well, why is it that that person is eating rice and beans? I mean, why don't they just go buy something else? Oh, well, because it's cheap to eat rice and beans and they can't go buy anything else because they don't have a car. Right? I mean, one of the questions that I get from people when I'm doing some activism in the community is, well, why don't poor people eat healthier? And that way they won't get sick. Okay, I'll tell you why they don't eat healthier. Healthy food's expensive, number one. Number two, not everybody, they mostly don't have a car. And the closest thing to their house is mostly those little the little convenience stores. I've never seen them sell salad in a convenience store that was affordable for poor folk. Okay? But yeah, healthy food is very expensive. And it's not sold around the corner that you can just go and get it. So education starts at home, Randall, and you're absolutely correct. But when there is no source at home to provide that education, what can be done? We have limits as to what we can do as teachers in school because we must respect the individuality of every child and we must respect the choices that parents make within a certain pretty wide parameter, if you understand what I'm saying. So we cannot pick up all of the slack. We cannot. We can pick up some, but not all. And this is a perfect situation where the saying, it takes a village, applies. It takes a village. Yes, Ranelin, I am because there's so much hate, Ranelin. There is so much hate. Oh, I know that these children were innocent and they were killed. I know that. But it's not just a gun that did it. And it's not an evil person only that did it. See, a kid was a victim too. And we're not addressing that. And until we start to address that, we're going to have more of these kids killing other kids. And we're not addressing that. You know what? I think that we're afraid that we're cowards and that we want to be politically correct. And that's why we don't want to address it. We don't want to address what the real problem is. Oh, I'm getting all hot and bothered. So, the people that we rely on for authority, such as the police and teachers, they don't really have that much authority as you might think they have. And yeah, we all know that there's like a teacher can be real snippy or a police guy can be real snippy, but oh my gosh, I would never be a policeman and work every day, every minute. You don't know if you're going to die. But by the same token, have you seen those videos that they put where they're trying to make like the policeman look really bad because he's talking in a harsh way to somebody? Yeah, but what about the way you're talking to the policeman? When a policeman stops me, yeah, of course. It doesn't happen that often. I totally get that. I totally get that. But you better be for sure that I'm going to be doing yes, sir. Yes, sir. Even if that policeman is wrong, I'm going to be doing yes, sir, until I have my court date. And that's what I tell my son, because he's young. So I say to him, whatever he says, however he says it, no matter what, you say yes, sir, in a nice, polite, respectful, soft spoken, and humble manner. And then if he's wrong, we take it to court. But you don't talk back to a policeman who thinks of, and I've seen it. And then they get all irate. The police gets irate. Things get all out of hand. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time. I don't know what to tell you. Ay, ay, ay. So anyway, let's see. I want to hear something that you all have to say. Ranelyn, thank you so much for being here. Two Real Chicks, thank you so much for being here. The New Orleans Gardener, thank you so much. And of course, for the people who were up there aged gracefully, Ashley Rice Reviews. These are all great people, great channels. Thank you. Woo-hoo! Thank you for being here. Thank you for the likes. I got 1 for 1. 9 people, 9 likes. That sounds good. Yeah, we got to have a voice and we got to use it. It's not there just to say, subscribe and like. No, you got to use your platform. You got to use your voice. You got to take action. So yeah, you got to do that. Llama Monster, yeah, he's still there. It's not all about, having fun with YouTube, but use the platform. Dolores, the baking diva. Oh my gosh. Dolores, I just made a video that you're going to like, Dolores, because I talked about, it had nothing to do with baking. I don't know how I got sidetracked, but I talked about how some people put coffee in their chocolate recipes. So you're going to like it. You're going to like that part anyway. It's a tiny little section, but you'll like it. So yeah, every so often, I think all of us, and I know that we're small, most of us here, okay, are smaller channels. Okay, I'm super small. I don't have any monetization. I never will. AdSense got mad at me and kicked me out the door. And I said, okay, because they don't talk to you. They don't tell you. They don't explain. So I'm never going to be monetized. But no matter how small you are, we have a community. We have people that we talk to back and forth, that we see all the time and that we listen to. So we should use every so often a video and talk about something that's important to us and share it. And, maybe we can make a difference that way. So I would like to inspire you every so often to do one public service announcement. I know that the Real Chicks did one the other day. Oh boy, they were fired up about, what was it? Two-Faced. Fired up about Two-Faced and about the name of the makeup. But that's part of the problem right there, because these girls, they buy that, and their mommies buy that, and their mommies buy it for the girls. So, yeah, we've got a problem here. Desensitization. Okay, wait, let me pronounce it. Desensitization. Absolutely. And then we have all of these games that are also adding to the problem. And so this is what happens. There was a study about the difference between, I think it was World War II and Vietnam or World War I. I don't know, but the difference between the soldiers and their ability to immediately shoot um, their targets. And they found out that the World War I or World War II, I don't remember which was studied, had a lag. They took longer to shoot their victims than those who were in Vietnam. So they wanted to find out what was different in the training. So what they realized what was different in the training was that the targets that they would practice with, those that were with the Vietnam War, practiced with realistic silhouettes. So they became desensitized, whereas the other ones did not. They practiced with a unrealistic target. So I think we have that in our society. Good night, New Orleans Gardener. Thank you for coming. I love you. I think we're having that in our society, and I think that our kids are playing too many of these shoot 'em up games on the. I mean, guys, how many of you have a child or that when they were younger, you let them play those games that were so violent? I mean, my elementary school kids talk to me about these games that they're playing, and they're on YouTube, and they have videos, and I don't talk with them or communicate with them or anything because I want to keep that separate, right? But why? Why are their parents letting them do that? I don't know. I wouldn't. My son didn't have a TV in his room until he was like in middle school. No TV in his room. I wanted to make sure he wasn't watching something he shouldn't be watching. I don't know. But I totally get it. It's not the parents' fault. They use the tools they have. You know, they're trying to be their best, and that is their best. So whose fault is it? If the parents are using the tools that they have, if they're being the best of what they can be, and society knows that it's not good enough, whose fault is it? I think we know whose fault it is. It's our fault. We're not picking up the slack. We're not putting in systems that pick up the slack. So let's see. Ranelyn says, yes, my son used to play those games at his friend's house. No parental games in our house. Nanny spyware. Oh, yeah. Nanny spyware on all my teens' devices. Yeah. You know, some people say, oh, but that is humiliating to have such of a what would you say? Such supervision where you're watching what they're doing and they don't know you're watching, or maybe they know you're watching, but you know they don't have any freedom, or you look through their book bag and stuff like that. I go, no, that's not taking away their freedom or disrespecting them. That's making sure I'm doing my job and making sure they're okay. Okay, because I want to make sure they're good. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, I mean, it's like life. Get used to it. Your boss is going to come and check up on you, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So if you're not used to it, what are you going to do? You're going to tell your boss, what are you doing? You don't trust me? You're fired. Yeah. Yeah, a little fear never harmed anyone, you know? I tell you, I had fear with my parents. I'm telling you, they would look at me like that. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. And I'd get spanked. I'd get spanked. And I mean, I wouldn't get beat up. I would get spanked. I would know when a spanking was coming, honey. I would be warned. My dad would come, he would sit me down, he would talk to me for hours about what I did, what I had done wrong. Next to the table would be the slipper he'd spank me with. And I'm sitting there listening for hours and hours and hours. And I know at the end, I'm going to get my little spanking. I have to tell you the truth. I always wanted, just give me the spanking and let me go, because the speech was worse than the spanking. Yeah, Ranelin has an app where she can see what sites they go to on their phone, okay, and who they're talking with and what they're doing. And it's called parenting. It's not called being a spy or not trusting. So, yeah, two real chicks that all she got was the look. Yeah, we know the look. We know the look. And lately, I don't think kids know the look. I think they give the look. Yeah, they give the look to the parent. Hey, but it's. I think it's about trying to find ways that we can provide support to people that don't have support. Listen, when you're working and you come home at 7 o'clock at night from working a job that is not paying you well, and you're not being appreciated at work, okay? And you're not even able to afford anything after you've worked so hard. Think about it. Let's say you're working at a really bad job. You're working super hard. You work every day. You don't get these paid vacations and all these benefits, and you still can't afford anything. How do you think you feel as a parent? You feel really bad. So then we want this person to be totally healthy in terms of emotions, to bring up a child that is well balanced. No, that's not going to happen. So we need to make up the difference. Since we're not providing, jobs to everybody that pays well, and insurance to everybody because it's not happening, and vacations to everybody because it's not happening. Now we need to make up the difference. So yeah, I think that we need to have, what I would put? I would do this. Okay. I would provide free after school care with activities, fun activities, like dance classes included, like swimming included, all fun and free. Okay. I would add even cooking, like kids to learn how to cook and other skills so that they could learn things while they're at the after school. I would extend the after school so that the mom has time to go home and breathe, maybe take a shower, and then go and pick up the child. And, you're saying, yeah, but then who's bringing up the kid? Hello? It's happening anyway. These parents are working very long hours, single parents, single moms, very long hours, and they're coming home at that time anyway. So I would provide like a home away from home. That's what I would do. I don't think we have that. I think we have exhausted parents with very little parenting skills. They don't have time to go get a class on parenting skills. Hello? They don't have time for that. And that's why it's producing what we have. So, hey, what do you think about President Trump wanting to send out, what is it? Those boxes of food instead of the snaps, I think they call it. What do they call those? The card that you buy. What do you think about that? You think that that's appropriate? I think it's humiliating. I don't think it's appropriate. What if I don't want to eat peanut butter? Listen, when I was a little kid, my parents I was born here, but my parents had come from Cuba. My background's Cuban. So at that time we had a lot of friends and people, and I remember the big cheeses. It was a big cheese like this that you would go and you would get it, okay? And between us, we would joke about the big cheese and the powdered milk and the peanut butter. We would joke about it, right? Well, oh no, we would not talk about that in front of anybody else because it was embarrassing. Oh yeah, it was embarrassing. I mean, I liked it. I liked the cheese. I liked the milk. I liked the peanut butter. But it was very embarrassing. It was very humiliating. So I don't know. Um, there are limitations already set on what you can get with the snap. There are already limitations on what you can get. But I think that people need a certain amount of integrity. I think that they should be at least given the choice of what foods they can buy. It's my opinion anyway. I don't know. Whatever it's worth. It's not like you can go buy, I don't know, a fifth of liquor or anything like that. That's not allowed on the snap. You can get cereal, but you can choose which one. Okay. So, yeah, he wants to get rid of the SNAP program and send food boxes instead. Well, I don't think he'll be sending them. I think you'll have to go pick up the food box. But I don't think so. I don't think that's a good idea. You're hungry, huh? Well, if they do make people get a food box, I know that Dolores from the Baking Diva channel, she's gonna make whatever comes in that box into some good cookies and cake. Yeah, so Ashley Rice Review says that if people aren't given options for the food boxes, she thinks it is terrible and how to deal with food restrictions. Yeah. Yeah. But Ranelin, you know what, Ranelin, I used to be a social worker. Okay. I used to work for a Christian program that would help people that were low income. And we had a training one time. So listen to the training, Ranelin, because it's directly with what you're talking about. So we had a training. It was a small training, and we were told a situation, and we had to provide an answer. And then they said, okay, you have a family with 4 kids. It's only the father working a very low paying job. They have very little money, and they need everything from clothing to food to a place to stay. And it's up to you to decide how you're going to divvy up a certain amount of money that you get per family. So these children are young kids. They're 5, 6, 7, 8, that age group. And you need to figure it out. The mom is disabled. The dad is working part time to take care of the kids and the mom. So, Rhinelin, this is what the guy says at the scenario. The guy says, well, what do? You've got these options, all of this stuff, food, clothes, the rent, this, that, the other. And you also have the option of giving them tickets to Disney World, in addition to the other stuff, but you would have to give less of the other stuff, but then you would give them tickets for Disney World. And we all looked at each other and we said, are you kidding? This guy doesn't need to go to Disney World. This family doesn't need Disney World. This family needs food, clothes. Maybe we can get them some books to read. And then we started just, holier than thou, saying all kinds of ideas and suggestions. Yeah, maybe we can buy them some books so they could have a library at home. All kinds of holier than thou suggestions. And the guy looked at us and he said, you're all wrong. Every single one of you is wrong, because you can't only feed their mind and their soul and their belly, but you got to feed their heart. And this is a family who may never, ever experience Disney World unless we pay for it, because they're never going to have the money. We all felt really bad. And I realized, yeah, he's kind of right. He's kind of right. Why can't we give them a trip to Disney World? I mean, they'll never have it if we don't do it. So I don't know. It made me rethink a lot of things. And it made me rethink my judgment especially of limiting the poor to just the needs that they will have to survive, and trying to go beyond survival needs into happy needs, because happiness needs to be, needs to be taken seriously too. Hey, sunshine girl, I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Julie Smith. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I was wondering, how come I have so many likes? I don't have that many people. Now I realize it's that you all came in. That's nice. Thank you for coming. We talked about a whole bunch of things. Let me give you a synopsis. We talked about the presidential portrait that I was thinking was like the one that's going to go into the White House. And I was like, oh, that just doesn't match. That's just not right. And I liked Michelle's, but it doesn't look like her, but it's very pretty. But then they said, no, it's not going to go in the presidential. They're getting another one for the presidential wall. So, yeah, we talked about that. And then we talked about Florida shooting and how, in my opinion, the shooter was also a victim of society, and how we have not been able to put systems in place that can recognize when something like this is going to happen. Or actually, yeah, we recognize it. We just don't do anything about it. How he posted on a YouTube channel using his name, how he was going to prepare to be a school shooter, how the content creator reported him, how the FBI went to the content creator's house and didn't find the guy. I don't know how the FBI can't find the guy. What kind of confidence does that give me? He uses his real name. He's on a simple computer. He's not using any kind of high-tech masking device. And how come YouTube can't help? I don't know. I don't even want to go into that again, because that really frustrated me the most. YouTube is on our tail all the time, and they know everything we're doing when they're working their logistics. They know which channel we're watching, how long we're watching, where we're located. They know everything we're doing. They're on our tail. How come they couldn't figure out where this guy lived? I don't get it. All right? I just don't get it. So, I think that we let the guy down. Everybody knew he was weird in the way he acted. He had his father die. Then he had depression issues. He'd been going to some counseling. He stopped going to the counseling. He was taken out, kicked out of public school. He was in an alternative education program. I don't think he was given the help that he needed. His neighbor would video him playing with a gun outside. So everybody knew this kid did not surprise anybody. Everybody knew. Nobody could do anything. Something's wrong. We failed him and all the victims. The blood's on our back too. It's here. We got the blood here too. We failed. We failed everybody. So, what can I say? Yeah. Yes, the topic is very easy to talk about, but we need to have some change. We need to push for some change. So what change I want may not be the change you want, right? But as content creators, you've got the power to voice, to talk, to do a little public service announcement. Do it on your channel. Say and address the congressman and hashtag them. Say what you think that needs to be done. Demand it, okay? I think that what needs to be done is that we need to be able to provide more after school care programs when they're little, so the kids can have more fun and activities that are fulfilling them inside. Okay, we need to have more employees. Do you know how many counselors are assigned for how many kids? Do you know? Okay, the ratio is like one counselor to, I think it's like 500 kids in elementary school, one counselor to 500. Tell me, how does that work? It doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work. A counselor cannot counsel 500 kids. Okay, we need more money. We need more money. Now we're here in Florida where you know about the Florida lottery. Oh yeah, the Florida lottery. It gives money for education. No, it doesn't. What the Florida lottery does, it allows the state budget to cut out of the education budget. You cut it out and you make up the difference with the Florida lottery. It does not augment it. No, does not. So we need more money to pay for counselors. Yeah, that's my dog walking around. You're making too much noise. Yes, you are. Sit down. Don't make any more noise. No, don't give me your paw. And don't knock down my computer. Can you hear her? She's making a lot of noise. So people think that the Florida lottery is helping to give money for the school systems. No, it's not. That was such a ripoff. They lied. Yes, those politicians lied. Surprise. They lied to people. They said support public education and vote for the lottery. They lied so much. Okay, Age Graceful, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your comments. Hold on for a second. Go ahead, come here. Come here, right in here. There you go. Good girl. Yeah. Okay, and now they want to make schools even worse. Oh, but Dolores, do you think a guard at a school with a regular handgun is gonna stop an AK, whatever that thing is? No, Dolores, it's not. Plus, it's not gonna look pretty either. And it's gonna make kids be like into the gun thing. Like it's normal. It's not normal. Hey, Kelly girl. Mwah, mwah. So happy you're here. Bye. Go to work. Have a great day. Dolores, it's not normal to have an armed guard at a school. So when you do that, it makes it appear as if it is normal and as if that type of violence is acceptable. No. What you do is you eliminate the factors that cause a 19-year-old boy, he's still a boy, do what he did. That's what you got to do. That's my opinion anyway. We've got problems. We've got problems with emotions and with people's hearts. I hate to say it. I mean, it sounds corny, but we do. We have problems with people's hearts, with people's love machinery. We need to love people more. The solution that I heard, and that's why I'm here, because I got fired up when I heard this person who's an educated individual say, oh yeah, they're going to solve all of this problem when they start taking criminals and they start cutting off pieces of their body every time they do something wrong. Like, holy cow. Wow, how barbaric. Like, what? This is an educated individual. And then everybody was like, oh yeah. That's not right. That's not, our society is like barbaric. They want to start cutting people's arms and legs and all kinds of body parts when they do something wrong because we let them down as a society. Yeah, we let them down. We let them down. Okay. I know. I think weird. I think that's like my mentality of the people who are not criminals and the people who know better are the people who should do something about it. I think that mentality is different from what I hear normally. But the way I look at it is that if we know better, then it is our responsibility to take care of it, because we know better. You know, I don't think that having an armed guard at the school is the solution. And I don't think that arming teachers is the solution. If they tell me you need to take this gun and carry it with you, if you want to be a teacher, I'm quitting. I'm quitting. I'm not going to be a teacher carrying a gun. It's not going to happen, because that's not what I want to teach my students, that they have to have a gun to protect themselves. I want to teach my students to love each other to protect themselves. Why can't I teach that instead? But yeah, that's my opinion anyway. So let's see. Dolores says that, what does she say? What does she say? She says there are many schools in NYC and city schools in New Jersey that have guards. Yes, yes. And they are the tough schools. Yes, yes. But if these students require those guards, let's say middle school, let's say they require those guards, I'll bet you they required lots of love in elementary school that they didn't get. And if you would have given them love in elementary school, you wouldn't have had a problem in middle school, and you wouldn't have had a shooting in high school. I mean, that's all I have to say. Give them love. Give them love. And what that means, because love does not mean say, oh, I love you. No, no. That's not what it means when I say give them love. That means that you need to make a sacrifice to fulfill all their needs. And if that means that you're going to have to pay a little higher in taxes, give them love. Okay? Give them some love. Save them. You know, and I think that that means that if you need to make sure that they have mental health care, then you need to give them love so they have that mental health care. And if that means that you need to pay a little more so they have more after school care, then give them some love so they have that after school care. And if that love means you need to pay a little more in taxes, give them love. Yes, to real chicks. If that means you need to give them discipline, give them love. Give them that discipline, which is another subject that I really can't go into too much. Because I'm somewhat limited, because, you know, I'm an employee, I'm a teacher, and I don't want to talk about my job as a teacher. But there are certain things you just can't do. You know, you've got to be a little detached, because, you know, there's certain advice that you can't get into giving. You have to respect the integrity of the family and their values as it is. And I understand that. I totally understand that. And sometimes you've got to just allow a disrespectful look or a disrespectful remark. I mean, sometimes our hands are tied. So, yeah, but let's say that there's an after-school program that's funded by the government where the kids go after school to that program, and a child misbehaves. And that program should be able to tell the child, you know, you have misbehaved, you did this wrong, and it is expected that you do this and this. So because you misbehaved, you're going to sit for timeout for 10 minutes. Yes, you should be able to do discipline like that. So, I didn't know that you worked at an after school, although you had your kids. Ranelyn is saying she had her kids at a really good after school care program. Yeah. After school care programs are good. And you know what I always wanted to do? I always wanted to have the money to open up a school. And actually, believe it or not, I wanted one of those schools where the kids stay over, where they actually sleep over. because I wanted to be able to take kids that had really bad home environments and give them something better. But that takes a lot of money. But that's what I always wanted to do. So, what do they call it? What do they call those schools where the kids sleep over? I don't remember. There must be a name. Sleepover schools. I don't think that's the name. Boarding schools. What is wrong with me? Of course, it's a boarding school. All right, I got it. But I always wanted to, do a boarding school. And I'm going to tell you what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that arts was respected as an academic, not as a elective, no, but all of the arts, that they were available and that students would be able to really get into the arts, as also dance and music. And, I think it's so fulfilling for a child who has talent to be able to satisfy that part of them and to be recognized in terms of how important that is, because sometimes maybe a test on a reading is important, and they can figure out, oh, well, yeah, reading is important, but art's not that important. And I'm good at art. And then they feel really sad. And there are other skills that they may be really, really good at, and we don't want them to feel that it's not important. I mean, think about it. What makes a person successful? Is it the amount of money they make? Does that really make a person successful? Would you define the amount of money that a person makes as the definitive factor of success? I wouldn't. And I think that that's why our kids are having the trouble that they're having and the problems that they're having, because they're not satisfied as humans, because we are imposing standards that are not in line with our human nature. Boy, that was deep. That even threw me for a loop. Okay, so what I mean is, what makes a human being a success, in my opinion, is their ability to honestly be happy and make others happy. And a simple, true happiness, not a fake happiness. Oh, look at this real expensive purse I got. Oh, I'm so happy. No, that's a fake, happy. That's not the kind of happy I'm talking about. So, Ashley Rice reviews, are you an actress? The arts made me grow so much as a person. Yes, the arts are fulfilling, and it's an escape. Okay? You're able to journal, you're able to write poetry, you're able to write songs, you're able to take out all of those emotions that you're feeling and share them. People can connect with you on a different level. Yeah. We do a lot of product reviews, and we talk about products, and that's fine. That's okay. I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm not. But I'm not saying that what I am saying is that does not define true happiness. We say it at GLID, I think, I hope, when we say, oh, I'm so happy I finally got this palette, let's say. I think that we're using the word happy in a materialistic form, but it does not mean the same happiness when we're saying we are in peace with ourselves, with the world, we feel fulfilled. And that type of happiness that I'm talking about is so simply achieved. I've sat outside on a day off, and I've listened to a bird, and the bird has sung so beautifully that I've really felt really, really happy. That's happy. when I say, wow, those birds really sing so beautiful. That's really a happiness. I'm appreciating the world around me. I'm connecting to it. I'm feeling happiness. Okay. When I am able to help a student, let's say that I have a student who feels bad because they're making mistakes, and I'm able to say something to that student where I see his face suddenly change, and suddenly their expression tells me, oh, I believe in myself now. I'm good now. I'm okay now. That makes me happy, especially when I know that that is happening because maybe they're not achieving academically what another child is achieving academically, numerically. Maybe they're not getting 100%, 90%, but maybe they're giving it all they got. What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for than all they have? Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. But it's true because I feel so bad for these kids because they're rated on numbers and a number does not define who they are. You know, they're defined by their inside and by their effort and by the work. Work is what makes you happy. And if you're working towards something and you've given it all you've got, oh my gosh, you're successful. You're successful and you should be praised. Hi, Mel. How you doing? And I'm very sad sometimes because I know that they are trying really hard and they're listening to me say, the grade doesn't matter. I don't care. I think you did great. Wow, you worked so hard. And sometimes they're not believing me, you know? Sometimes they're looking at me like, gee, you're on Messiahs. I think you're lying to me. And I'm not lying to them. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. You know, I was going to try and justify it. Well, yeah, it kind of matters for school. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You know, I've seen a lot of successful people the way I define success, which means a person who is of value to society, who is happy and can bring happiness to others. I've seen successful people, they don't have degrees. So I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble if I keep saying this, but it's true. It's true. You know, people can be all success and not have a degree. So I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Ashley says it's so sad because society makes us think that all that matters is a 4.0 GPA. And that's not true. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. You know, when I'm working anywhere, I don't want to talk about my regular job. Okay. I want to talk about like another job that I do on my own. So when I work on my own jobs that have nothing to do with my regular daytime teaching job, when I work on my own jobs and I have a partner that I have to complete a task with, if that partner makes a mistake, I don't get mad at them. But you know what frustrates me? When I see that that partner doesn't care. Oh my gosh, that frustrates me. I'm like, why would they not care? You know, why would they be irrelevant and not invested in the actions that they're doing? What kind of life is that about? I would hate to live having to take action and not be invested in my actions. That would be depressing. I would not like that. Right? Mel, how you doing? Yeah, well, you know, money makes life a lot easier. Okay. I've come from a very simple background. Well, people don't know my past, but I've come from a very simple background, a good past. I didn't have a horrific situation, but we were very poor. Yeah, we were, you know, rice and beans poor. I was rice and beans poor. I was wash my clothes with my hands because Are you kidding? Go to the laundromat? We don't have money for that. Okay. So, yeah, money makes a difference in a lot of things. People say, well, money doesn't matter. It doesn't count. It does. Okay. It does. But it doesn't make you the person that you are. Okay. Other factors make you the person that you are. Other factors. Money makes things a lot easier. Randomly, yeah, it gives you options, but it doesn't make you happy. I've been in situations, I'm very grateful that I've been able to work and I've been able to pull myself up by the bootstraps and have a degree and do well. I'm happy. I'm very happy about that. But yeah, I've known people that had a lot of money and were not happy. So, money changes your life. It does change your life because I can tell you I've been there and it changed my life. I can tell you that. Changed what I ate. It changed my ability to see the world. It changed my ability to be safe where I was living, because when you're poor, you live in an unsafe neighborhood. So yeah, it affects your life big time. But being rich doesn't make you happy. Doesn't make you happy. No, doesn't. Doesn't make you happy. So let's see. Mel, are you still in the house, Mel? Sunshine girl, I always wanted to have a degree in, well, I have a few degrees, but I wanted to have a doctorate's degree. I always wanted to have a doctorate's degree. I love studying, but I couldn't have a doctorate. I couldn't. I had to stop. I applied, I saw the cost involved. And, even if I would have taken like student loans, there was no way. So I always did feel super bad about that. I actually cried when I realized it. When I sat down and I realized, okay, this is not going to be happening, not because I can't go and do it, because I've always been a go-getter. So I would always work full time and go to school full time. I had no problem with that. But because monetarily, it was totally impossible. So I did the math in my head. I wrote down numbers, I calculated. And when I saw the results, I was like sobbing like a baby. I was crying. I was like, oh, because I really wanted that. But nope, couldn't do it. So, yeah. Okay, goodbye, Ranelyn. Thank you so much for staying as long as you did. I appreciate it so much, Ranelyn. I love you, Ranelyn. You're a good girl. I love you. Aloha. Yeah, Ranelyn's good people. She's good people. So, did Mel leave? Oh, I wanted to ask Mel a question. He's not here. He must have left. That's okay. I mean, I've been on this little thing for a long, long time. Oh, is Two Real Chicks here? Yes, honey, I need to ask you. Did you use your new camera? Oh, Carla. Okay. I didn't know which of the two it was. Carla, did you use your new camera? Oh, Carla. Carla, come on, girl. Okay. You got to go. I know everybody's got to go. I think I'm shutting it down. I think I'm going to shut it down, Dolores and Carla and Ashley. You guys are wonderful. My gosh, I can't believe I got 11 people. 11 people in the house. Sunshine girl. I'm a monster. I don't know if he left or if he's there. Mel somewhere around. Who knows? I don't want to leave anybody. Cindy Nook. Oh my gosh. Cindy Nook. These are cool people. Action for Aging. Wow. These are really cool people here, I got lucky because I got some cool people here. I got some good company here. Yep. I got some good company. I got lucky. I'm blessed. New Orleans, Gardner was here. Okay, baby, I gotta go, you guys. I love you all. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. Do something.